We're introduced to a story that once stirred controversy but now stands as a classic. After being injured in the war, a husband becomes disabled. In hopes of continuing his lineage, he goes as far as suggesting his friend to his wife, who herself has been wavering towards others. It took over 3 decades for this story to be revisited, and now it has been adapted into several movie versions, sparking endless discussions on relationships between men and women. We move to the post-World War I era, where Lord Chatterley is left paralyzed from the waist down due to war injuries. Thankfully, his wealth ensures a comfortable life, and with a beautiful wife like Connie by his side, life doesn't seem too bleak. However, this nobleman refuses to live as a disabled man and contemplates ending his life, only to be stopped by Connie's timely intervention. Her patience and comfort inspire him to regain his will to live. A new mobility aid brings a smile back to Lord Chatterley's face, much to Connie's relief. She hopes the dark cloud cast by his disability will eventually lift, but a mishap with his wheelchair the next day dashes these hopes. An accident leaves Connie injured, and Lord Chatterley is filled with guilt. He can't provide a normal life for his wife and even becomes a burden. That night he has a maid help him bathe, an act that Connie witnesses, leading to an argument the next day. Battling pride and guilt, Lord Chatterley immerses himself in work, distancing himself from Connie. Despite her love for him, her loneliness grows, leading her to the estate's gardener, Mellors, sparking a new chapter in her life. Mellors, once a soldier under Lord Chatterley, now works as a gardener. His rough demeanor initially offends Connie, but after a sincere apology and a re-invitation to his cottage, she sees a different side to him and decides to accept his invitation. In the secluded forest, Mellors' shirtless work stirs something in Connie. Caught in the rain, they seek shelter in his cottage, where the atmosphere is charged with unspoken tension. Mellors' respectful behavior only heightens Connie's attraction to him. The intimacy of the cottage carries into Connie's marital bed. She tentatively expresses her desires, but her husband's incapacity deepens her sense of loss. In a desperate attempt to fulfill his role, Lord Chatterley resorts to electroejaculation, enduring physical pain while Connie suffers emotionally. The treatment pushes her to intervene, leading to a poignant moment between them, where they confront the possibility of a platonic future to spare further pain. Time flies, and so does Connie's optimism, fading faster as she wanders through the woods for solace. Recently, Mellors has been raising chicks, and today is their hatching day. Holding the adorable chicks, Connie finds a brief respite from her melancholy, and Mellors notes that the chicks seem to see her as their mother. Upon hearing this, Connie is moved to tears, reflecting on her uncompromising life, her discordant marriage, and her unfulfilled desires with her husband. At this moment, Mellors breaks through his restraints and embraces her. Their first intimate encounter is sudden, driven half by their mutual loneliness and half by genuine affection. After fulfilling their emotional and physical needs, Connie's spirits soar. Life seems beautiful and comfortable, almost as if she's been reborn. She often sneaks out to meet Mellors, their relationship becoming more natural and her confidence growing. However, her newfound confidence alerts Lord Chatterley to a potential crisis, leading him to devise a despicable plan to control his wife. Lord Chatterley organizes a high society party with a scheme involving a noble friend who has always fancied Connie. He leaves them alone, hoping to spark an affair. However, Connie detests the nobleman's playboy ways and gives him no chance. The next day, Lord Chatterley suggests they should have a child and heir, confusing Connie since he's infertile. His plan is to have another nobleman impregnate Connie, caring only for the noble bloodline, not who fathers the child. Connie is furious at being treated as a mere vessel for childbirth. This conflict deepens the rift between them, and Connie turns to Mellors more frequently. Eventually, she becomes pregnant and informs Lord Chatterley, who feigns happiness despite the child being another man's.
You have made me the happiest man on earth. You're happy, aren't you, darling?
Very happy. Thank you, darling.
And the man?
Connie dares not reveal Mellors as the father, given the absurdity of a servant's child inheriting the Chatterley estate. She keeps it a secret, especially since the idea of having a child with another man was Lord Chatterley's to begin with, and he doesn't probe too deeply, avoiding further hurt. Days later, Lord Chatterley and Connie take a walk, but their vehicle gets stuck in the muddy forest path. Frustrated by the failure of industrial progress against nature, Lord Chatterley, in his aristocratic pride, calls for Mellors to help, insisting he do it alone to avoid embarrassment. Mellors struggles to push the heavy vehicle, injuring his back in the process. On their way back, Connie argues with her husband and, realizing his stubbornness, returns to Mellors to check on him. Watching his wife head towards the servants' quarters and piecing together her recent pregnancy, Lord Chatterley begins to suspect something. When Connie enters Mellors' cottage, she finds him brooding, not because of his injury, but because he has just learned from Connie's conversation with Lord Chatterley that she is pregnant. He fears that Connie sees him merely as a means to conceive. The notion of true love across different social classes seems like a mockery to Mellors. Unable to explain, Connie leaves disheartened and cries in her room. At this moment, Lord Chatterley comes to her, prompted by a premonition from their earlier encounter. He wants Connie to announce her pregnancy soon, hoping to close the chapter on the contentious issue of insemination. With no other options, Connie agrees. Before the announcement, Lord Chatterley receives an anonymous letter and meets the informant, a maid from their household. She discovered Mellors' diary, which details his time with Connie, revealing that the child is not of noble blood but Mellors. Confronted with the reality in Mellors' diary, Lord Chatterley angrily confronts Connie, who admits everything. Deciding to forsake all her luxuries, Connie runs to Mellor's cottage, declaring her true love and urging him to elope with her and the child, resolving their conflict about the unconventional conception. However, Connie now needs to divorce Lord Chatterley to be with Mellors legitimately. Soon after, Mellors and Connie confront Lord Chatterley at his office. The once loving couple now stands as adversaries. Stripped of his former dignity, Lord Chatterley desperately pleads with Connie to stay, but it's too late. He has pushed her into another man's arms, and all that remains between them is closure.
Once, to unburden me of you, you were ready to sacrifice your life. I believe there must still be a part of the beautiful man I fell in love with capable of one last act of sacrifice.
Connie leaves with Mellors, and in a final act of defiance, Lord Chatterley struggles to his feet and stumbles to the fence. His transformation from a handsome gentleman to a pitiful, prideful invalid marks the end of his journey with Connie, offering him the only solace he has left.
Have your divorce, Lady Chatterley. Have it. Take her. She's yours. And mine? Mine is the world.
The story, set in the post-World War I industrial era, reflects how Lord Chatterley, a beneficiary of the industrial system, is shaped by its cold constraints. Although his infertility is attributed to the war, the narrative suggests he was inherently inclined towards a sexless marriage. He devalues physical intimacy in favor of spiritual connection, castrating not only his desires but also attempting to suppress Connie's. However, her affair serves as an undeniable blow to his beliefs. The novel emphasizes the significance of sexual relations in human connections, sparking debate on whether indulging in physical desires justifies defying societal norms. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this.